Checking, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Always seems like we have to do that we have to always go testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, before we begin. Why? Because as usual, like I've said in my other technology rants, a lot of the stuff that's wireless is not 100%. Why? Because reliable. Why? Because it's dependent on software drivers for receiving signals correctly. That's why. If it was the microphone was say above here where the camera is looking down, one of them, and the microphone went wired to the computer behind me, then yeah, it would be fine. I wouldn't have to go, testing 1, 2, 3. Although I do testing 1, 2, 3 anyway, so that I can see the UV meter inside OBS giving me a return. So it actually is working. So I'm just checking all the cameras are functioning properly and we get our proper views and so on. We have just posted a article on the Imagine Image website in the forums regarding the bird's eye view issue. Part of the problem that we have, because we always forget this, part of the problem that we have is that, and so we made the post on the forums, every entering force must be given an objective, a place to go to. If it does not have a place to go to, then upon entering, it pretty much has to enter and deploy and stop. Or, exit the road, get off the road and wait. If it doesn't have an objective or any other orders other than just get to this area and wait, then that's what it's going to do. It can defend itself and therefore deploy after entering, but what does that mean? How far does it deploy? Well, one move would seem adequate. I mean, a distance equivalent, a distance appropriate to the length of the column for all the units in that column to become deployed, in line to defend themselves. Because that's what that's what I would do. If I got to a location where somebody said, yeah, just go down the street and hang out by the corner, I would go down there, and if I had 3,000 guys, I could say, okay, let's sit up and just wait, and so just defend as best we can based on the terrain and where we think the enemy is. Well, the enemy's that way. Okay, well, let's just sit up. And there we are. If you don't have that, if you don't have further orders, then you stay put. Hopefully you will receive orders. Now, the bird's eye view effect that we wrote the article about, the forum entry about, was the fact that the commander, me, or anybody, can see exactly where everybody is. Okay? And which is impossible, because we're not in a UFO or a balloon looking down and knowing everything. And we can't issue orders instantaneously. Well, because in those days, even in World War II, the radios were not that good, so it just didn't work sometimes. Okay, you still had to have a courier. You still had to have somebody run out there with actual hardwire. And yeah, they did. They put it on the back of a Jeep and they went, or a motorcycle, and then went, 5,000 yards or something to the nearest command post or whatever, with a big spool of wire. That's it. So here, the only other way we can simulate or having to reduce the effect of a bird's eye view is you got to send out a courier. You got to take the time to do it. You can't just say, okay, Joe, I want you to move from where you are over to here. It doesn't work that way. Unless Joe and you are really close together, then you can say it that way. But if he's not, if he's a distance away, you really have to send a courier. And in case you don't want to have to go to the effort of having little courier figures and secret orders written somewhere that then get revealed when that courier gets to where he's supposed to go, The only other way to do it is to die roll it. Okay, here's my orders in my head. Okay, and I want to communicate with Tom. Well, what's the distance? What's that got to do with anything? Well, distance means time for a hypothetical rider to get there. Well, say the distance from one commander to another is 8 hexes. Okay, if you want to order that guy to do something, you got to roll under an 8. Would that be right? On a 1d10? Or you'd have to roll over 8. Yeah. Yeah. So if he's 4 hexes away, you roll 4 or better. And then 5 hexes away, 5 or better. That's one way of doing it. That's a faster way of doing it. But it, again, it uses luck, right? With an actual physical courier, Commander Rover on the left here would write an order saying, okay, these arriving troops, I want them to do the following. And we're assuming that what we have visually in front of us right now is a brigade of infantry coming in on the Confederate side. And what it's doing is it's getting to where that kind of, is there a bridge there? We may have actually forgot a bridge. Nope, there's no bridge there. So we're having these guys get here, and that was their objective. All right, get to where that creek ends by the road and stop there. So the guy is stopped there and waiting. And where's his commander? Well, let's see. It's the 2nd Division, 3rd Brigade. Okay. By the way, that reminds me. Oh yeah, one of our figures came off, and so here's an example of the hot glue and the acrylic stands not taking, or that the hot glue and the acrylic doesn't melt the acrylic enough for this hot glue to maintain its adhesion to the acrylic stand. Whereas if it was wood, it more than likely would have maintained its adhesion. But this is not wood. This is a plastic 3D printed flag holder. And the glue, and what I did is I dropped the stand on the floor and the figure came off. But it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder. So what can you do to fix that? Well, you can have double sticky tape on hand. You can have glue like this. Really? Just Elmer's glue? You'd be surprised. Sometimes just using Elmer's glue is enough to create an adhesion and is sufficient to hold it. Even though the whole idea of the portable glue gun was to make it, portable. So you could use glue gun anywhere. But this little white glue sometimes is fine. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. Courier is being sent to the commander, or a die roll is made. In this case, we will not send a courier. We won't bother. We'll just make a die roll. And the distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the commander? Put him there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on a D10. So better than a 6 or better on a D10 dice succeeds in getting the communication to that commander, telling him what to do. Now, say I get the roll. I roll 7, 8, 9, or 10. These guys can now converse. I can openly say, instead of having written it down, I can say, oh, by the way, here's what I want you to do. From your current location, I want you to move to your left flank or your left off axis, right? You can issue orders describing the hex spacings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So move to your 1, 2 until you get past or get until you reach a road, which is this road right here. So he would move to his 10 o'clock and go until he reached a road. And that's what this was right here. And obviously, if you encounter any forces, defend yourself until reinforcements arrive if you can't take them on yourself. Simple enough, right? Uh, or you might want to give him an order that says, I know I was going to tell you to go that direction when we originally had the plan, but now things have changed and I need you to help me. So I need you to come over to where I'm located as soon as you can, like right away, um, because I've got forces that are retreating and so on and so forth. So that is an example. All right. So there we are. And I think, does that force have the cavalry? Is that what that is? I think the 1st Texas is part of that cavalry or part of that unit. I'll let that dry and we'll find out. All right, so there we are. And we're going to continue with this next turn, which is turn number 3, with these arriving forces right here and the melee continuing and so on and so forth. And I think over on the far right of the Union side, we have another arriving force, and the Confederates have an arriving force as well. Yeah, so all forces are now engaged, or at least coming on the battlefield.